This is Crusader Kings 3. We're here on Xbox Series X, diving into this latest entry within the very long-running series that has found its way to consoles. So be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So what we're getting here, 4K resolution, I would assume 60 FPS. Hard to tell when it's just literally maps and whatnot. But this game is so much more than just maps. It's a game of strategy, it's a game of conquest, it's a game of decisions, and it is packed to the brim with features and conquests and eras and different ways you can play and battle and cause problems and work through lineages and have different relationships and have different it's utterly ridiculous. There's a tutorial to help you as well, where you can kind of dive in. And yes, the controls are pretty good with the controller. I quite like it. So, I should dive into what we have before we even start playing. Like, the idea of this game is that you are creating dynasties. You have living trees or dead trees, and this is a newer run that I'm doing here. But you could have, you get married, you have spouses, you maybe even have secondary wives, depending on your character, because there's a few different, there's different eras, and then there's different leaders within those eras, and then there's settings within those eras that you can choose. And you get to, name your different children, and you get to have these sprawling trees. This is small. My last game was, way more, crazy. It takes hours to play this. Hours and hours and hours and hours to play these different scenarios. But you build these armies, and you have these legacies that you create within these different houses as you expand your territory. And there's no right way to win. You really go and do all kinds of different things. Warfare can be automated, it can be manual. You create armies, you take different areas, you can get mercenaries, you can bring in knights, you have a council you run. There's a realm with your domain, and you build castles, and you can construct and then give different titles, and you can grant them to your different rulers. Your champion here, you can give him the titles he needs, and then you can run an area, and then he becomes a vassal. And it's just trying to get across that it's so deep and so in depth. It's crazy. So your council manages things, and then you can tell your council to do different stuff within that. And then you've got a court, and you've kind of prisoners, and you can do all kinds of different things with prisoners. You can ransom them out. You can you can execute them if you'd like to. You do you. And then you have these hooks and secrets where you have different advantages that you can use to get influence, and there's different factions that are with or against you, and then you could do different things. You can host feasts, or if your character likes to partake in the company of groups of women, you can do that every once in a while. Or you can pet a cat every 5 years, or I think it's 3 years, and it'll give you a de-stressor. But then there's your character, and you have all these details, all this info, all these perks, and you have an heir to your throne, and you've got you got your parents, your grandparents, and you've got your children, and they have their kind of marriages. We can go here, and you can see they have their marriage, and then their spouse has families, and they have relationships and lovers and problems, and they have it's insane. All of the stuff you can do in this game. Now, it might seem a little overwhelming, and yeah, you know what? It definitely is. It takes a while to really get a hold of things, but I think they do a pretty good job of giving you a clean, clear-cut way to handle everything. From your titles, we can customize everything too. We can, that place sounds cool, but I also kind of like the whole land of Skyland. I think that's pretty cool. And like I said, you can name all the different people you deal with, and you can see the different claims to your land, and it's really quite neat as you build this territory and you create things. And there's war and peace options. There's sorry, I just keep on opening this thing. Cultural options. There's faiths that you can create. If you get enough faith points, you can create religions. And then there's a lifestyle option, And the lifestyle is kind of like these perk trees you can use. You can go up and through that will give you different benefits and points. And it's just absolutely insane what you can do. And you can like reform faiths, and there's also like a hint section that if you need to be doing something, you know, you can do it that way, which helps a lot. You know, it's kind of just like this little quick bit of info, and there's suggestions like, hey, you need to modify contracts, or you can... And then there's this whole other layering of things you can do. So you can modify contracts, firstly, that will, you know, maybe increase the, you know, the taxes in a region. You can use a hook in order to do that, and you can get different, you know, your opinion, the opinions of others will change on you. And then you can also do crazy things like, okay, so I'm here, you know, I've got my character. Well, we can go to Lancaster here, and we can be like, you know, I want to seduce or romance this person's wife, or maybe I want to scheme a murder of them, or offer them a ward, or you can have your own wards, or you can have your own people that you're teaching how to do stuff. And it's just the intricacies of this are just fantastic. It's not a very high chance of seduction, but... You know, you could do all of this crazy stuff, and it's like, it's all simulated, and there's all these different characters with all these different motives. And you can also improve your area. You can educate children if you want. Let's educate, yeah. But, you know, you can go to a place, and you can be like, okay, well, we need to build something here, and you have to manage your money and your resources and your crown points and everything like that. But you could be like, okay, I want pastoral lands, and then you can upgrade these lands too over time, and it takes years and years and years, and you can choose, you know, how fast things are going, how quick stuff happens. You know, it's just, it's absolutely wild, the types of scenarios you can find yourself in. And you have to create different reasons to, you know, go to war and cause, you know, problems, and it's just utterly fascinating, the stuff you can do within this game. I'm absolutely blown away. Elizabeth, that sounds fine. You could rename if you wanted to there. But I'm blown away by the complexity that is present here. You know, it's just kind of crazy, the different things that can happen. And you could declare war, and then you can like kind of raise your army up, and you can do all this stuff. And you have a court, and you have a council, and then you also make decisions in the war too. And you can automate things, and you know, you can create new, like, I don't know, we could do some armored footmen. Sure, let's do that. And it's just kind of like, it's nuts, the sort of things you could do. Like, this is gonna definitely cause some, you know, currency issues as we go to war with this area. But, you know, it really is just absolutely marvelous, the different kinds of depth. Like, if you wanted a game that perfectly simulates, you know, the experience of, you know, kind of doing medieval warfare, or medieval, well, not necessarily like, you know, sieging like actual physically, you know, but if you wanted to get the politics and the dynamics of conflict within this era, or like hundreds of years basically are present here, it is truly amazing, the things you can do in this game. Like, it feels unlimited. Like if this is your, like, this won't be for everyone. I want to be very clear here. Like, this game won't be for everyone, this type of strategy game. But if you like this type of strategy game, you can literally sit here, I think, for hours and hours, and maybe even days of time. And it's just, it's nuts. Like, you can keep finding new people to build out your empire. You can keep expanding your territory. It really is just a thrilling time, and it gives you all of the sort of info you know, that you can kind of need to manage your different conflicts throughout this stuff. And I think to me that is really, really rather exciting. You know, there's just so much you can do. Oh wow, my troops are really going down, and you can make bad decisions. Like your empire can fall apart, and that's why I should. Oh, we lost. Oh, that sucks. And that's why I should mention that it is a very good idea to create multiple saves. You only get the one autosave on the platform, and there is multiplayer too. If you'd like to open it for multiplayer, you want to join multiplayer stuff, there's a lot of options. And you could switch characters if you'd like to. So you could change the difficulty settings too. I played on, what is it, default or something like that the first time, and then I'm like, I want to see what super easy is. Because I was streaming it, so I wanted to show it off. After my first run of the game was like 3.5 hours. And basically nothing really, like, well, not nothing, but I expanded, and then I lost some things, and then everything fell apart, which is a bit of a pain, but, you know, it happens, so you gotta keep building up your empire, you gotta keep doing stuff, and some things go well, and some things go bad, and you lose stuff, and you lose territories, or you gain territories, and that's kind of the magic of the experience is, you know, kind of expanding, going to war, fighting off different enemies. Was I fighting multiple fronts here? I'm being raided? Oh, no. Do we lose Wessex? Uh-oh. It looks like this empire is falling apart. But it's not just your one character. This is a... Do we ever even have Wessex now that I think of it? Anyways, it's not just your character. It's your next character. It's the family that you're building over the course of, you know, hundreds of years, basically. And it's not just, like, you know, there's all this conflict that's been going on in this one island. But there's this whole world that can be conquered or ignored or visited. And it's just... It's insane, is it not? Just, like, it is such an impressive sort of experience that I'm blown away by what they have to offer. And you can have, you know, decisions that directly impact things. And you make all these choices. And it's really, really quite neat that you can have these almost never-ending experiences. She must be taught the proper execution of the law. And that's the fun, though, is also, like, making these crazy choices, seeing these weird things that can go on. It really is just, it's insane, honestly. Like, I don't know if we've seen too many console games really give us, you know, this sort of expansive of an offering. Like, it feels like everything is here. I'm not, like, you know, I'm not super familiar with the PC version of it and whatnot, but it feels like the whole experience has been converted over. It lets you make the crazy choices. It lets you customize the setting you want, the strategies you want to create. And it goes all out for expanding and offering something that is... It's just really, really exciting to play, I guess is the biggest point. Like, I literally just kind of sat there while I was streaming, and the time just whipped by. I was constantly given new, you know, kind of experiences to do, new things to dive into. There was a constant array of, like, activities. And I was doing, you know, I was seducing folks, I was, you know, creating an empire, I was getting multiple children, I was doing all kinds of stuff, and it was really, really crazy, the types of scenarios that were going on, because you are basically doing something wild. I don't know, it's just kind of really, really intriguing as you carve out your piece of history, right? You make your empire, you know, you do all this stuff. He's passed away, and it's just got, like, it's not just intense stuff. Like, there's there's silly things that can happen. Like I was saying, like petting a cat or, you know, interacting with these different characters. There's so much that you can do, and it all seems to run perfectly here. If that makes sense. Like it just all seems to flow. Like I was saying, I was doing a multi-hour game, and it didn't seem like anything had slowed down at all. It just kept flowing. And to me, that was really exciting, because it just seems like you can do the craziest selection of things. Oh, cool. And you get to see all these children kind of grow, and then when you die, you take on the role of a new character. And then you take on a role of a new character on top of that, and it's just kind of like... It's really exciting to see these factions expand over time, and see the crazy things you can do. It looks like she's learning a lot. And then you can, like, also do... raise local raiders. Like, you can raise these armies if you'd like to. Low quality? Maybe you could raise a local army? Just trying to build my military strength back up, right? You know, it takes time. You lose all your people doing big fights, and your army's like... Uh-oh. It looks like I'm feeling sick. And you can get, like, disfigured and stuff, too. Oh, looks like the worm actually made things go on. But I think the biggest thing that I want to get across is this is something, you know, that is fun. It's engaging. If this is the type of game you've been loving, I think you can literally sit here and just enjoy the wild action that just, like, never ends. it really does not feel like this, you know, time just, like, blows by while you're playing this game, and I think that's really exciting. And it's all beautifully detailed. It's all, you know, lively. It's exciting. There's so much to do, so much to see. And it's even, like, the course of the time I want to, like, show this game off, I don't even think properly displays the crazy things that will go on here. And it dives into, like, all... And you can make more choices, too. You know, you could really make some wild decisions as you attempt to take territory, expand your offerings, become a bigger, you know, territory. It's really, really quite exciting to have all this go on. Invade the kingdom. She could get married now, which is kind of exciting, and we should probably pause to do that. And then you do these battles, you expand your territory. Oh yeah, I have no spouse either. Oh, well, we should probably get a new spouse. She's young. Anyways, let's throw her in there. And it's just... I don't know. It offers you almost too much to do, too many things to see. And I think you can literally just find this to be an endless, exciting ride that will offer you... Oh, and the music's amazing, too. It will offer you just the craziest amount of fulfilling action as a strategy game. If it isn't something that you would love, you know, obviously I don't think it'll necessarily be for you, but I think you can get a lot of value out of this game. Like, it just goes on and on and on and on. And it's certainly something that is worth playing and seeing if this does entice you at all, because there is so much to do here, and so much to see, that you'll be constantly surprised by the crazy things going on here. That is for sure. I think I just got married again. But yeah. It's exciting. It's great. It's very well done. It may feel like a bazillion things are going on at once, but that's also the fun of it, is expanding your influence building a territory that lasts the ages. What? She was murdered? The insanity, the crazy things that go on in this wild game.